What's up guys, welcome to the next episode of the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer weapon guide. Today we're going to cover all of the assault rifles. Let's start with the drop times. The G36 here is an outright winner at 0.3 seconds. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assault rifles are at 0.45 seconds. The ACR and the AK-47 are at 0.6, and just beneath that is the FAD. But really slow to drop is the Type 95. And if you don't know what drop means, it's basically putting the weapon away. So if you're going to bring a stun grenade out or bring a claymore out, you're going to put the weapon away, and that's what the drop time is. Moving on to the raise time, which is the opposite of drop, so how long it takes for your weapon to come back into your hands. The G36 again leads the way at 0.5 seconds, and they're pretty much the same after that at 0.75. A bit slower is the Type 95 at 0.8, and then the FAD, the Mark 14 and the AK-47 are actually quite slow at 1.1 seconds. Moving on to the reload times, we got the ACR with it as a clear standout winner at 1.19 seconds. The M4, the M16 and the CM901 are all quick at just over 2 seconds. SCAR-L moderate at 2.4. And all the way down to the AK-47, it's still moderate at 2.5 seconds. And then the Type 95, the Mark 14, and especially the FAD, really slow at 3.2 seconds. The capacity, well, the standard capacity for assault rifles, all of them are at 30, except for the FAD at 40, and the M14, which is at 20. The interesting thing with the FAD assault rifle is that although it has 40 rounds, it has quite a high fire rate, which means those 40 rounds get used up pretty quickly. But let's take the ACR, which has 30 rounds, but it has a slow fire rate, so it can maintain that for a much longer period of time. Moving on to the RPM, the rounds per minute, the FAD comes out with the highest RPM at 1000. The Type 95 has 1000 RPM as well, but it's a 3-round burst. So for the other assault rifles, the M4, the G36, the SCAR-L, they're all quick at 750 to 780 RPM. ACR, slower than those at 705. The AK, slightly slower at 689. And the CM901 is the slowest fully automatic assault rifle at 666 RPM. The MK14 is a single fire weapon, which means it has a 545 maximum that you can shoot by pressing R1. Moving on to the recoil, and again this is opinionated, this is just from my time playing the game. I have to give the ACR a 1 out of 5, 1 being the least amount of recoil, 5 being the most. The ACR, almost no recoil. So what this allows you to do is shoot people from further away. Up close, doesn't really matter. Onto the second one, SCAR-L and the M4A1, joint at 2 out of 5. Very little recoil, and up close, pretty much nothing. The FAD, or even with its high fire rate, it can maintain that over a long distance. The AK-47 kicks a fair amount as well, so I had to give that a 4 out of 5. But the important thing with the AK-47 is that it has a lot of power. So, you know, if someone ducks behind a wall, you can actually kind of shoot through that. And then finally we have the CM901 and the G36. I had to give these a 5 out of 5 for recoil, especially the G36. Like, you shoot 2 bullets, and it won't move, and then suddenly after that, it will just jump up. Kind of difficult to hit people with long range, especially with those iron sights. I recommend putting red dot and the kick proficiency on the G36. Now let's see how these assault rifles deal damage up close. So the M14 and the Type 95 deal 75 and 55 damage respectively, and that means they're a 2-hit kill up close, considering a player only has 100 health. The CM901 and the AK-47 are the most powerful, all the way down to the SCAR-L. It doesn't really matter. They're all 3-hit kills up close. The FAD takes the most amount of bullets at 4. And it's interesting how those translate into the longer distances. So at the furthest distance, the Type 95 goes from having the most damage to the least damage at 20, which means it's a 5-hit kill or 2 bursts on target. However, further away, the MK14 still is a 3-hit kill, so it's a very powerful weapon. The ACR, CM901, AK-47 and G36 and the M16 are still 4-hit kills, But the FAD, the M4A1 and the SCAR-L are 5-hit kills. So they're kind of more, the sort of halfway between a submachine gun and an assault rifle. And how all of these stats translate into time to kill. Well, up close, the Type 95 of course is going to be the quickest to kill. With that 1000 RPM, the 2-hit kill, it basically means its time to kill is 0.12 seconds, a whole tenth quicker than the next fastest gun, which is the M14. And again, that's a single fire weapon, so that's going to be pretty difficult to use to even get that time. M16 at 2.31. So the fastest time to kill assault rifle up close is going to be the M4A1, which is fully automatic. G36 right behind that at 2.34. And to be honest, it goes all the way down to the AK-47 with only 0.03 of a second separating them. And then the CM901 at 0.27. But they're pretty much, there's hardly any difference between them. Further away, the Type 95 still is the quickest to kill. I think it's mainly because of its 1000 RPM. Especially if you put rapid fire on it, you can shoot between bursts quicker. The time that it takes that you can shoot bursts, it reduces. So those 5 bullets will be easier to put into someone. The FAD is the fastest to kill further away, but for the fully automatic assault rifles, however, it has a fair amount of recoil, so you really want to make sure you have kick on it and you have a very good aim. M16 at 0.308, G36 at 0.312. And they're kind of just increase by hundreds of seconds, just 1, 2, and then all the way down at the bottom is the M4A1 at 0.385. So again, hardly any difference between any of them. And thus, I have to give them an overall ranking. I think the standout winner between all of the assault rifles, and although it does require good aim, it has to be the Type 95. It has the fastest RPM. It has very little recoil. Well, I mean, of course, it's a 3-round burst. You don't even need kick on it. I recommend putting stability on the Type 95, so your bullets actually hit. And the best fully automatic assault rifle has to be the ACR 6.8. SCAR-L, very good iron sights, very good silenced weapon. That's just below the ACR. G36, very, very good time to kill. Both close and further away, but however the iron sights are not nice. I recommend putting kick and red dot on that. The M4A1, you can put any attachment, any proficiency on it. It's an all-rounder. And then from here on in, the AK-47, the CM901, the FAD, the M14 and the M16, they're pretty much second fiddle to the top 5. However, again, there's hardly any difference between those and the ones at the bottom. I'd say the one standout bad weapon is the M16 because it shoots at a lower fire rate than the Type 95, it deals less damage, and without rapid fire it shoots really slow between bursts. I guess its iron sights are good and it's a good gun to silence, but the Type 95 is definitely the better choice between those two. M14, if the connection's good and you put rapid fire on it, I see this as a very good weapon. However, right now the game's a bit iffy. I don't see the point of using this. The FAD, I would say it's the worst assault rifle. Although it shoots quick, it's the fact that it takes 4 kills to kill up close. You may as well put on an SMG, and with its kind of moderate recoil further away, you want something like an ACR. And that was my roundup of the assault rifles. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Next week we're going to cover the LMGs. That should be out Thursday. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and of course leave feedback, and I will see you guys next time.